If you're looking for a simple and easy warm bowl to dive into, this is something that you should definitely try out. I'm making French onion soup today. Let's see how it's done. The soup starts off with a lot of caramelized onions. I have 1.5 kg of onions that have been sliced. To make your life easier, you can also use a food processor to slice your onions. And here's a tip, you can soak the onions in water if you don't want to cry while cutting them out. Now I have a pan heating up over here on high flame, to which I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of oil. Once the oil heats up, you can start adding in all the onions at once. It's easier to caramelize a large batch of onions as they tend not to burn. Toss them around ever so often. You'll notice that the bottom ones go nice and translucent. As you can see, a lot of moisture has come out of the onions already. And this is one of the reasons why I haven't added any salt as of now. If you add salt at this stage, the onions will become very soupy. That will make it difficult to stir and it will take longer for the onions to caramelize. At this stage, you should start keeping a close eye on them. This is where they will start getting color little by little. The onions have started to caramelize just now. It's a beautiful golden color. Now you have to make sure that you mix it every 2 minutes. As you can see, most of the moisture is gone. At this stage, you will have to start moving them around every 30 seconds so that you don't burn the onions. Switch off the flame once the caramelized onions are ready. Most important thing is to take the onions out as soon as they are done. So with 1.5 kgs of onions, you can make so much of caramelized onions. The best way to use these caramelized onions is either inside your toast, in a grilled cheese, in your biryanis, or to make bhuga chawal. If you know what it is, let me know in the comment section below. Now let's see how to make the French onion soup using the caramelized onions. Today I'm going to show you a method of making the soup without using the oven. So for that, first you need to identify what kind of a bowl you're going to serve it in. I'm going to serve it for one person in this bowl because I'm going to eat it as a meal. So I'm going to take around half a cup of the caramelized onions in the pot first. The flame is still off. Before I switch on the flame, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of flour over the onions, 2 tablespoons of oil, and now I'm going to cook the flour till the raw taste of it is gone. I'm using the same pan that I used for caramelizing the onions. The reason why I have caramelized so many onions together is if you go for a smaller batch, they tend to burn and stick to the bottom of the pan. Once the flour is completely mixed in and heated well, first I'm going to start with 1 cup of stock just to make sure there are no lumps. I'm going to add in a total of 3.5 cups of vegetable stock. The flour is going to help thicken the soup very beautifully. Once the soup comes to a boil, you can add in dried rosemary. Season the soup now with salt and pepper. The soup has thickened beautifully and is now ready to serve. Our classic French onion soup is now ready. Let me show you how to serve it. I'm going to ladle the soup into this bowl. I'm going to add in some cheese over the soup. This is going to form a barrier between the bread and the soup. As the cheese hits the warm soup, it's going to melt. I have some slices of sourdough over here, which I'm going to toast. I'm going to use a little bit of oil to toast the sourdough. You could also use butter if you like. And now I'm going to toast it. I'm going to flip it over. The bread is lightly toasted. Now I'm going to place it over the soup. And now we're going to add a lot of cheese over this. But before we add the cheese, we're going to melt it in the same pan. As you can see, the cheese has melted. Just pour the melted cheese over the bread. If not having an oven was stopping you from making this French onion soup, you can now give this recipe a try. This is going to be a labor of love, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. This is Chef Bhumika signing off from Rajshri Food.